Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for Friday, March 7th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. In the morning, I'll be posting my morning injury report, and that will have the injury reports for 15 of the teams as it is an 8-game main slate. The lone team on the back-to-back is going to be the New York Knicks. I will have their injury report coming out later on in the day, as well as all those other injury updates throughout the day. I will also have my updated core out about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock, or as those changes do become available, so definitely be on the lookout for that. And then last but not least, I'll be posting as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well. So definitely make sure that you are checking up, down in that comment section below so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible. But without further ado, we're going to start off with the DraftKings side. We're going to start off at that point guard position with Anthony Simons of the Portland Trail Blazers. He's at $6,900 at this point in time. Goes against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Typically, that's not the greatest matchup in the world, but the Oklahoma City Thunder are essentially resting pretty much half their team at this point in time. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, the forward or guard, however you want to label him, and Isaiah Hartenstein are all listed as out for this game already. Chet Holmgren's technically listed as questionable, and I believe he's been dealing with like a leg contusion. We'll see ultimately whether or not he ends up playing or not. I doubt he plays if everybody else is sitting. So you're probably going to see a Thunder starting lineup consisting of Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, and Jalen Williams, the center. That would be my guess for their starting five for this game. And then some less than stellar guys coming off the bench for them overall. So going to be a good game to attack just in general. I like Anthony Simons and his upside in this matchup. We'll see whether or not Jeremy Grant is back for this game or not. He's missed the last couple of games, which could cause a downtick in usage for Anthony Simons. But even with Shane Sharp in that starting lineup, he's been playing really well as of late. So definitely do like his upside in this one. And I currently have him projected for about 36, 37 points in this matchup. But he definitely has some pretty strong upside for even more than that. Then we're going to move down to shooting guard with Isaiah Joe of the Oklahoma City Thunder. $4,000, looking for 20 out of him to pay off at 5 times value. Currently averaging 17 so far on the season. But as I mentioned when I was talking about Anthony Simons, this Thunder starting lineup is probably going to be Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, and Jalen Williams, the center, if I had to guess. We'll see whether or not Chet Holmgren ultimately ends up getting rolled in or not. But in that scenario, Isaiah Joe is going to be a guy that chucks up the ball quite a bit. He's going to soak up a bunch of usage and definitely has some really strong upside. So if everything I said pretty much comes true, especially if Chet Holmgren's out, I would expect Isaiah Joe to probably get 28 fantasy points in this matchup and look like one of the better value plays overall on the day and could have some even stronger upside for even more than that. Then we move down to small forward with Kevin Durant, who's been playing really well as of late. And he's only at $8,900 on DraftKings today. So it's a little bit interesting there, looking for 44, 45 out of him. Currently averaging 45 so far in the season. Maybe a pace down spot versus the Denver Nuggets, although going a little bit quicker, especially if Russell Westbrook's in that starting lineup just in general. But definitely like Kevin Durant in this matchup overall. And I currently have him projected for about 48, 49 fantasy points. Definitely one of my favorite spend-up options on the day overall, especially at a reduced price tag. And we're going to have a ton of value on the slate overall, especially coming from that Oklahoma City Thunder team and potentially even more opening up throughout the day in terms of injuries with some of the other teams. Then we move down to power forward with Kenrich Williams. I believe you can also play him at center on the DraftKings side. $3,400, a guy that just kind of does a little bit of everything. I do expect him to get decent minutes here for this Thunder's team. At $3,400, you're only looking for 17 out of him, averaging 13 on the season. Obviously, when guys are this cheap, you need at least 20 fantasy points out of him, and probably even more with all the value coming from the Thunder today and potentially some other teams as well. But definitely do like his upside. Currently, I'm projected for about 26 if he's in that starting lineup. Definitely a guy that can contribute in a lot of different ways. Points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, you name it. He can pretty much do it. So definitely do like his upside in this matchup overall. And then last but not least, at that center position, we're going to go with Jonas Valanciunas of the Sacramento Kings. $6,900. Looking for 34, 35 out of him. Averaging about 26.5 so far in the season. He is playing in place of Domantas Sabonis as of late. Started the last 3 games in his absence. Played really well 2 of those games. The other game was just a little bit short of what we'd be looking for out of him at $6,900, which is 34, 35 to pay off at 5 times value. Definitely do like his upside for more. It's an interesting matchup going against San Antonio Spurs. Probably going to see a lot of Bismack Biyombo, which really doesn't scare me whatsoever. But there is always the scenario that the Spurs go small ball with Jeremy Sohan at the 5, and then maybe, just maybe, the Kings match suit with Trey Lyles at the 5, and then Valanciunas ends up losing some minutes if that's the case. So obviously there is some risk in playing him, but the upside definitely warranted at that $6,900 price tag. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you'll have $19,900 remaining, just over $6,600 remaining per player. So at least early on, that makes it look like a balanced slate, but there is going to be a ton of value on this slate overall. Definitely, you do feel free to kind of mix and match some of those value plays overall, especially when it comes to that Oklahoma City Thunder team and some of the other potential value that could be popping up throughout the day. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So we're going to see some familiar names here, as I do have Anthony Simons at that point guard position once again, $7,100. So a little bit more expensive on the FanDuel side. At that price tag, we're looking for at least 35, 36 out of him, pay off at 5 times value. Definitely do like what he's been doing as of late. Currently I'm projected for about 37, but does offer some pretty significant upside for more going against this Thunder team that is lacking at this point in time. Then we move down to shooting guard with Isaiah Joe. If you did not listen to the DraftKings side, if you only play on FanDuel, essentially all the starters for the Oklahoma City Thunder are ruled out for this game for rest purposes already. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace, Jalen Williams, the forward/guard, and Isaiah Hartenstein. Chet Holmgren is also listed as questionable. He's dealing with like a leg contusion or calf contusion. I can't remember which off the top of my head. I don't expect him to play either, so you're probably looking at a starting lineup of Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, and Jalen Williams the center. And in that scenario, there's a ton of usage to go around, and a guy like Isaiah Joe is going to soak up a bunch of that, and he's going to have some pretty strong upside in this game. At $3,900, you're looking for 19-20 out, averaging about 16.5 so far on the season. It's a good matchup versus the Portland Trailblazers at the same time as well. Definitely do like his upside. Currently, I'm projected for about 27, 28 on the FanDuel side, but definitely has some strong upside for even more than that. Then we move down to small forward. I have Klay Thompson listed here. You can also play him at shooting guard. He's $5,800, looking for 29 out of him. Averaging just under 24 so far in the season. It's a pace-up spot versus the Memphis Grizzlies, who are a little bit banged up in their own right. Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks pretty much decimated by injuries at this point in time. Klay Thompson is essentially the leader of this team, and if they're going to do anything in this game, it's probably coming off the back of him. So definitely do like him once again. Currently, I'm projected for about 31, 32. Has some pretty strong upside for even more than that. But if his shot's not going down, could come with some significant downside at the same time as well, and a potential blowout risk for the Dallas Mavericks team overall. So if you don't want to play him here, I definitely do understand it. You could look at Aaron Wiggins, I believe $5,400 on the FanDuel side. Alex Caruso is $4,300, but he is coming back off an ankle injury. So there's some Oklahoma City Thunder value there once again. But I definitely do like Klay Thompson in this spot and coming off a really strong game in his own right. And, if you want to pay up for Kevin Durant, he's still available there, but just a little bit more expensive on the FanDuel side overall. Then we move down to power forward with Kenrich Williams, $3,700. Looking for 18, 19 out of him to pay off at 5 times value. When guys are this cheap, you need at least 20 out of them, and probably even more with all the potential value on this slate overall. Do expect him to be in that starting lineup for this Oklahoma City Thunder team. He's a guy that can contribute in multiple categories: points, assists, rebounds, steals, blocks, you name it. He can pretty much do it. And I definitely do like his minutes potential here, as well as the potential upside. Currently, I'm projected for about 26 FanDuel points, but definitely has some strong upside for even more than that. Then last but not least, at that center position, there's a ton of different options that you can go with out here. If you want to pay all the way up to Nikola Jokic with all the value on the slate overall, definitely does make a lot of sense there. If you want to pay down for a guy like Jusuf Nurkic, who should be in that starting lineup for the Charlotte Hornets with no Mark Williams, you can definitely go that direction as well. I went with the other pay down option, Jalen Williams. I do expect Chet Holmgren to be out for this game, so Jalen Williams, $4,600, looking for 23 out of him. He's pretty much the only big man they have left at this point in time. They could run some small ball 5 like Jeng out there at the same time as well, or Kenrich Williams. But likely more times than not, Jalen Williams will be out there as that primary center. Definitely comes with some pretty strong upside. And once again, at $4,600, looking for 23 at him, averaging just over 17 so far in the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 27 in this matchup. Definitely does have some strong upside for even more than that. If you want to look at Donovan Clingan on the opposite side of that game, you can definitely do that as well. Although his minutes have kind of been fluctuating as of late, but definitely comes with some pretty strong block upside at the same time as well. A lot of different options at that center position today overall. Feel free to mix and match, especially at that position, and especially in terms of value options for this slate overall. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $34,900 remaining. just over $8,700 remaining per player. So definitely feel free to pay up for at least 2 stud players. Probably could squeeze 3 in with another value play. It's going to make for a very interesting slate overall on both sites. Definitely a slate that I'm very much looking forward to. And it's a Friday slate, so don't be surprised if we get random guys getting rolled out and it turns into a little bit of chaos, because that typically tends to happen on Friday slates. But at least on the bright side, it's only an 8-game main slate as opposed to like an 11 or 12-game one on a Friday. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. And then once again in the morning, I will be posting my early morning injury report that will have all the injury reports for 15 of the teams. The lone team on the back-to-back is going to be the New York Knicks. I'll have their injury report posted in that comment section as well later on in the day, as well as all the other injury updates throughout the day. Could be a very interesting slate, especially in terms of value plays. So definitely be on the lookout for my updated core about 20 to 30 minutes prior to lock. That will be left as a pinned comment. If there's any other additional changes to that core after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment as well. And then last but not least, I will be posting as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the evening as well down in that comment section. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down there, especially as we do get closer to lock, so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have NBA DFS in terms of the core picks Tuesday through Friday. As of late, I've been posting up a good amount of NFL draft content, so definitely feel free to check that out if that's something you're into as well. Definitely would appreciate the support. And then last but not least, if you're interested in prop betting, if you're interested in sports betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you are a brand new user on any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's a 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's a 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. I'd be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS for Friday, March 7th.